To touch up on the topic AI because that's the most hot topic in 2024 and moving forward, right? You said you started to catch up onto this idea, and then first of all, I want to ask, how did you initially start to grasp this topic? Like, because this is such a vast topic, right? Where did you start actually knowing AI?
So I think about AI is obviously it's a very fundamental topic, you know. I studied AI in my class days at MIT, you know. I didn't do very well in the subject, you know. So I think Aile Herdakiri is basically, okay, are you going to be a AI fundamentalist, as in the somebody who is like a tech guy who understands, who does research in AI? That's one part, you know. Or are you going to be a company or a person that basically leverages AI to do something better? You know? I think we fall into the second category. We're not building technologies that are fundamentally changing AI itself. That's the OpenAI, that's the Anthropic of the world. You know? For us, what is that? You know, tools that people have built, tools that, you know, there's a wide adoption. We want to be the people that really know it well and can use it for the services of our clients. That's the second part. You know? So that what that means is, can you deploy AI? Do you know all the constraints and the capabilities that it has? That's where we come in. You know? So, I mean, for example, right now we're looking at a few healthcare ideas that could use AI to basically have better compliance or second opinion. And, you know, LLMs that are there, like, you know, we're looking at all the LLMs that are out there and using them to the service of this, you know, understanding tokens, understanding how it basically summarizes information, can it tablet information and all that, you know? Where does it hallucinate? Where does it miss context? What are the techniques to make sure like it doesn't hallucinate or miss context? Those are the things that we're focusing on, you know, which is, given the tools, what's the best way to make it, useful for the purposes that we have defined.
For you, when was the point where you really saw the capability of AI and that really blew your mind?
Well, when OpenAI came out with ChatGPT, you know, so I mean, up till then, and even before a few days into ChatGPT, I was like very dismissive. I was like it's going to take a long time, and what can it do, all that, you know. But when I see how well it reasoned, and at least like, you know, gave the context answers that when we asked a general question, I mean, it was, mind blowing in one's mind.
Yeah.
To the extent that these days, if I have to correct a essay or correct like some grammar, I just use OpenAI, you know, there's our ChatGPT. For a machine to be that, I mean, it's scary to a certain degree, you know, but also, you know, it was mind blowing in some respects.
For me, first, it was also OpenAI for me, and then the actual part where it mimicked human, let's suppose, sense and human language in terms of how people write. So I said, write an essay like the perspective of Jordan Peterson. So OpenAI knew his perspective and wrote a whole essay about it, as if it was written by Jordan B. Peterson. I was like mind blown. At that point, now I can actually predict trends that will come in terms of AI. Let's suppose in content creation, maybe influencers will be replaced by AI once it's really good. For you, what are like the predictions in your area, and what are the things that you think you should grasp on in terms of using AI?
So let's look at the short-term thing for us. You know? I mean, at the end of the day, we are working in services business. What does that mean? You know, that means like there's a number of people who are producing boards in the service of, you know, building some applications for our clients. The problem with that today, I mean, forget AI for a second, you know, is there's a lot of mediocre software engineers, and there are very few senior or very good software engineers, and we have to find a way of making, people who are freshers or mediocre be very good, you know, giving them the constraints to, you know, be very productive, or the help to be very productive, mentorship, whatever that is. You know, मलाई के लाग्छ भने once AI, and I think there's a lot of work happening in that direction, you know, which is code generation. You know? One thing is, does it mean like we don't need software engineers anymore because AI can write all the codes? You know? I think it's more going to be like, you know, even mediocre software engineers can be very good with the use of AI, you know. So it can do code generation wala, code editing wala, you know, or even review audits, you know. So I think at this point we're really focused on that, you know, because it has material impact on our business. You know? Does it mean we no longer have to aspire to 10,000 people? or that's not even possible anymore, and we have to do a lot, or we could do a lot with 400 people. Maybe that's what it is, or it is basically like, the reality of Nepal at this point is there are a lot of people who are graduating, coming out of the colleges. There's 15,000 people in engineering and science and technology, but there are not a lot of senior people, because a lot of people tend to either go abroad, they want to go abroad, and we're like, or there's very few senior people, everybody's gunning for them. If AI could really help a lot of these starting out freshers, junior engineers to be very good, it's good for our business. And we want to see can we harness AI for that path. Because the alternative is we have to find senior people. They're not in Nepal, whether they are in India, Vietnam, South America, but when they are not here, it's going to be complicated to work with them, just because mentorship is that much harder. So that's the angle that we're pursuing. That's the short term. Now let me step back from the frog, from anything. I just feel like what is AI capability when it reaches that general what is that, augmented general intelligence, or artificial general intelligence, when machine gets to the level of human
intelligence.
So what does it mean at that point? I mean, sometimes I feel like back 2,500 years away, when there were a lot of slaves in Athens, people from Athens didn't really have to do any of the work. There were other people doing that work, so they can actually sit down, meditate. There was a concept of universal income concept. Can we really? I mean, and I feel like a lot of the productive work that was done in philosophy, and just basically esoteric human thinking happened then. Is there a chance that we would go to that kind of world? I don't know. And again, that's something to think about. That always keeps me interested.
For me, yeah, because a lot of people have this question like, will AI replace my job? First of all, maybe I think these are questions mostly for people who don't understand tech very well, because if you understand tech and AI very well, you probably might know the answer. But for you, could you answer for those people who are asking, will AI replace their jobs?
I mean, if for example, if you what is AI doing these days? And I mean, right now it's doing content creation, content editing, and all that. If you happen to be there, I think it's gonna be. It may be hard to justify your work, because AI is gonna do it better than you've done, and because it has a lot more context. That's been fed a lot better context, and generally how machines work, they can do better than humans. What humans do, where machines cannot do, and I think AI is still gonna struggle with its creative work. Even that is being questionable these days. मलाई के लाग्छ भने, if you look at the history of how technology has come into place, computers, when they replaced all this Excel replaced all this spreadsheet and all that, the question was, are accountants going to be that important? But at every step, I just feel like there's been a lot more job created than job that has lost. Now, for the jobs that are replaced, it's going to be very painful for those people. They have to reorient themselves to a new job, and then people don't like change. So I think there's going to be a lot of instability in certain aspects, and that's going to continue until we have this better understanding of what AI can do, and which jobs are for human, or which jobs will be augmented by AI but will still require human. Do you understand that? So I think we'll see that, and that phase is going to be there. It's going to be painful for all the people that are affected by it, but I think at the end of it, there's going to be a lot more job than there was before. So I think that's one solace that we can take.
I was watching this video about Akshay Kumar, and he asked a question to the CEO of NVIDIA. He asked, what is the thing that AI can do that humans can do, right? And then the CEO replied that maybe 20% of the work AI can do really better, like 1,000 times better, but the 80% still cannot. As of today, AI still cannot do things like humans in terms of all the aspects, right? So which was very interesting which was very interesting thinking. And then a lot of people are skeptical in terms of what AI can be. Maybe it might be harmful for the human race and stuff. That's a different topic. But in itself, because GPT-5 is still going to be released, and the gap between GPT right now and GPT-5, I think it's huge. And everything is interesting to me, and I think the best thing that people can have the skill set is how to use AI for their advantage. So what can you say about how people can, let's suppose, use AI for their daily task, and will using AI be a good skill to have as of right now?
Yeah. I mean, I have to put a disclaimer. I'm not an AI expert, so I think we are at the same level in terms of knowing AI, and what we think AI should be. So whatever views I have is basically prefaced with like my own experience of using AI. I think there was a day when calculator, we were talking about like, should calculator be used to do maths, and now it's general understood that it helps. Why do you have to do it? Like, why do you have to spend 30 minutes doing a calculation when calculator does it very fast for you? And nobody asks that question anymore. We have that with computers. Should we use computers to enhance education? I think it's a given now. Everybody does that. I think that's the same thing with AI. AI is gonna make it a lot easier for us to do a lot of our work. Essay writing wala, summarizing wala, or even finding nuggets of information in a tedious volume of work. AI does it much better than we do. It actually frees up our time to do something else. This higher level synthesis is still human, and we can do it if we don't have to spend as much time reading through or triaging through all this information, because AI does that easily for you. Why not? Okay. I think AI is going to be a fundamental skill, just like calculator and computer, that's required for humans. So the sooner we adopt it, I think we'll be that much faster in our workplace.
What do you recommend for students who are learning AI and or maybe diving into this world of tech, relating it with AI?
So I think, students by definition are very young. I think they have these many years in front of them where they can afford to be fundamentally, for lack of a better word, fundamentalist. When I was at MIT, it was not important for us of how to use technology. It was more important to understand technology, why it does what it does, and what are the fundamentals behind it. I would really encourage people to understand that about AI, because you have that many years in front of you. For me, I'm a lot more older than the students that are there now. My thought process is, given 5-10 years that I'm gonna actively work, how do I make it the most of it? And that always is going to be a tool, because there's so many people working fundamentally in AI that will produce a tool that I could never create myself. But for a student, I think you have the advantage in years that I would actually want to know the technology behind AI. And when you know that fundamentally, you know the capabilities that it has and the constraints that it has. So I would actually encourage people to understand the technology behind it. When you do that, I think you'll know how to use it.